Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions, episode number 443. My name is Chris Fricchio and I'm here with Travis Baum.
Hi.
Jason Straker.
Hey, happy Friday the 13th.
All right, and Jeff Chorney.
What up, guys?
It is Friday the 13th, and
in
we were just
October.
discussing in October. It is not every year that shit happens. We got quite a bit for you today. We got several new games that we're going to be talking about. A couple of big news items, and then a community announcement that we're going to get to a little later. So before we do that, we're going to go around and see how everyone's doing. I'm going to start with Jeff. Jeff,
Hey.
What is up, my friend? How you doing, man?
Good. Last week we had our Thanksgiving. I might have talked about that last week briefly.
A little bit.
So yeah, it happened.
Do you guys
We
just
did
have
the
like poutine and ketchup chips? Or is that
poutine. We put on our beaver pelts.
cool?
Our beaver hats. Yep.
Your
Everyone
chooks.
apologizes to each other for 20 minutes nonstop.
Awesome.
The last person to apologize has to be goalie on the pickup hockey game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's,
Nobody wants to be goalie.
yeah, no, it's just like no one wants that shit. No one wants to bring that noise. No, it was good. Went to the in-laws on the Saturday or Sunday. Went to my parents on this Monday. I'm getting all my days mixed up. Ate a lot of food.
Yeah.
And had some leftovers for a few days. That's always nice. Get some turkey sandwiches.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. And then it was just pretty much work all week this week, and then here we are, and a weekend ahead. What have you guys been up to?
Good deal.
Travis,
Jason.
you missed last
Okay,
week.
Travis. There you go.
I did miss last week. Yeah, hooray for mental health days. No,
They are necessary.
They are
necessary.
They are. We have a really good benefits plan here, Interactive Distractions. So I got paid for it, guys. Don't worry. So yeah, nothing much, man. Just taking care of myself and keeping myself busy with my October spookathon. Just watching more stuff like that. I'm Jason.
Yeah, what are you up to?
What have you watched so far?
Oh my god!
How's Terrifier?
I don't want to. Okay, well, Terrifier is great. It's so good. I want the next one so bad. Fall of the House of Usher. It just released this week on Netflix. I urge you to watch. It's Mike Flanagan. So
Okay.
like Midnight Mass,
Sure.
Haunting of Hill House. Like he's just one of the most premier suspense horror directors or executive producers on the market right now. And it's on Netflix right now. Just released. Watch it. It's awesome. So that's like what I'm really tripping on right now. So
What if you
Nice.
don't really care about Usher?
Yeah. Even though he said happy birthday Xbox like 10 million times.
he did do that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. So different Usher.
Oh,
It's different.
damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's different. But yeah, it's loosely based around
Usher.
the Edgar Allan Poe short stories and stuff like that. But it centers around this family. So it's kind of like Succession. Like it's this family that is they run this pharmaceutical company. So it's like Succession, but horror. Really great. It's really good. It grabs you right from the start. It's awesome. So I can't recommend that enough. But other than that, life is what it is. But like Saints won, that's great. My soccer team won, that's great. My fantasy team lost. That sucks. But other than that, it's good. I got something this weekend going on. Me and some friends are going to go to Hollywood and go see Patton Oswalt. Do some stand-up.
Oh, that should be fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I'm in that mode right now where like doing anything is a chore. Like tying my shoes, going to get my hair cut today is just like the biggest chore in the world. So right now I'm just like, I got to get ready and go out on Sunday. But I think like once I'm there, I think everything will be pretty kosher. But that's I'm looking forward to that show though. I've actually been wanting to see Patton Oswalt live for quite some time. So he's his humor is just exactly like the mode I like to hit for comedy. So, but that's pretty much it. That's going on with me, Jason.
Yo.
Hey, Striker. What's up?
It's Friday the 13th. So I watched Friday the 13th just once so far.
So original. Original.
Part two.
I watched a little bit of part 2. I was at my my barbershop today, and they have like TVs going and everything, and they had Friday the 13th part 2 on. So I watched about 30 minutes of that myself. So
it always amuses me. Lisa had brought up like, Jason never talks, does he? I'm like, well, he made a sound in part 2 when he falls off a chair. And he goes, ugh. And that's it. Like, that's all that Jason ever utters is, ugh. But that movie's really good. It might be the best.
That way they don't actually need an actor for Jason.
Yeah.
We were talking about that at the barbershop because like a bunch of guys were like, I like part 1. There's just something rustic and smooth about it. But
Sure.
I was just like, man, 2 is, I think the majority of us in the barbershop was, it was one of those cool barbershop conversations where you had 5 chairs, all the barbers, the person working the front desk, all in this one area.
Nice.
And everybody like putting in their 2 cents about like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. And it was just a really, really fun experience just talking about horror movies. It was fun.
Speaking of horror movies, I had a horror-thon last weekend, which was great. Was that last weekend? I think so. Yeah, I got to watch Megan finally.
Oh, it's so good.
Which is fantastic. Oh my God.
It was really good.
I laughed my ass off. Oh,
I was bummed out. I was bummed out with that being a PG-13 movie, so I wasn't as like hyped for it. But I heard that people enjoyed it. But I did watch the director's cut version. It's slightly more violent. I really enjoyed Megan. I thought that was really good.
I did too. I can't wait for another one. Yeah, she was a very good villain. I think.
I agree.
I also got caught up on Scream. Watched Night of the Demons. What the hell else did I watch? I think it's about. Oh, I squeezed in Spider-Verse again, just because it's a great fucking movie.
Why not?
Oh, I we watched that last week.
Yeah,
I finally got to watch it. It's fantastic. I kind of agree with Jeff. It's one of the best superhero movies, just hands down. I don't know, like one caught me off guard. So I think that like I still hold that in a certain regard. That's like maybe a notch higher just because I wasn't expecting it. But I think pound for pound as a movie, it just does everything right from the start. It's phenomenal.
That's great. Oh, and my son was gaming today. Let me tell you about his little exploit. I was in the other room and all of a sudden I hear my son who's playing VR in his room. I'll hear him say, "Hey guys, I'm 7. I don't know what I'm doing."
Oh no!
And I'm like, "Oh shit!"
What is he in?
He's playing Poker Stars.
He downloaded some like Metaverse Horizon Worlds or something like that, which is just like a glorified chat room or something like that.
Okay.
And he found something that was called Spooky Cabin or Creepy Cabin or something like that. And he went in there and just started talking to people, and I heard voices, and so they were talking to him. So I'm like, "Oh wow. Shit, great!" So we had to get him out of there, and he was pissed.
So, Griff, let's talk about
predators. We had to talk about predators.
Danger.
Yep.
Stranger danger.
Oh God, Jesus, my heart
That's
stopped.
funny. Oh,
my kids are 11 and 13, and I'm still worried about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do that. Just get out of there.
Yep. I'm like, new rules: stay out of the store. Don't download anything without me. Oh God.
So I have the Quest 2 as well, and loved it. And games have been coming out, and I've been financially loose enough to be able to get the hottest games that have been coming out this season, which is I'm grateful for, seeing the situation that a couple of us are in. But I really got hit with the shit. Like, I don't have much expendable income when the Quest 3 was. That just looks so good. I want it.
I've seen some videos on demonstrating the AR. That looks great.
Yeah,
it's not a ton of games that support it right now, but when they do, it's going to be pretty awesome. It's like Demio. It looks really fucking cool in AR. So it's just like you're playing on your table, with this virtual. Oh, dude, it's neat.
I'm so excited for it. So I think when work kicks back in eventually, I think that'll be my first impulse purchase.
They have a trading program, don't they? Or I'm not sure.
If they do, I'll look into it.
Okay. I'm not sure that they do. Now that I think about it,
that would be the only way I would do it. I don't have any feeling. Oh, okay, yeah. I have a Quest 2 as well, and I don't really have any feeling like I need to upgrade.
It's a pretty significant upgrade from the 2, though. If it was more like a 2 Pro, I wouldn't be interested. But that's
the thing. It's like I don't really use it as a standalone device very often anymore. Like I use it as as a tethered to my PC VR.
Well, they've
And
got
you
a
know, that's
wireless
not really a
solution
big-
for that now, which is a lot better.
Yeah, they have it on the 2 as well, and I've used it.
I've heard
often.
it's better
Yeah.
on the 3.
It's
but-
come
Yeah, I'm
along.
sure
It's
it
come a
is.
long
Like,
way
the
on the
2 is
2.
just it's pretty good on the 2. It's certainly not perfect. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been using it for, is for actual PC VR.
But what sold me is the fact that they did announce that it's fully backwards compatible. So anything that you purchase
That's
in your
cool.
library
That's
will
cool.
work on
Yeah.
the Quest 3. That was right there. That sold me. You know, technology aside. So
I forgot
look at-
what Griffin said. He said, "Hey guys, I'm 7, so don't say any bad words."
I really like candy.
Oh my god, poor kid. Anyway,
$500.
But people on the internet are so nice,
Oh, wait.
Jason. I couldn't see them ever responding to that in a negative way.
right?
And there's nothing going on bad in the world, so everybody's nice and
No.
smooth and chill. So like, yeah,
Ugh.
for sure.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Chris,
Or like, where the fuck are your parents?
Yes.
seriously,
Watching Nightmare on watching fucking
Watching
Friday the 13th.
Right, watching horror movies.
I don't watch him when
watching
he's
horror
around.
movies in the other room.
That's why it took me so
Um,
long to. Like, I didn't watch the last 2 Scream movies because of him. Damn it! They went out of town, and I finally got a chance to watch movies. Anyway, I'm sorry, Chris. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. I don't really have anything going on. Like, it's been a pretty chill week. Got a pretty chill, like, do nothing weekend coming up. I hit up the Atlanta United game last week. It was the last game of the season.
Fun.
And they're in the playoffs, so that's
cool.
pretty cool. The Braves were in the playoffs too. They got knocked out by the Phillies, so that's a thing.
Damn you, Gritty.
Yeah, and that's about it for me. Also doing fantasy, also not doing great. So you know, that's that. Both my fantasy teams are 3-2, and I'm kind of questioning some of my decisions, but that's okay. That's what it's all about.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I got to this point because when fantasy football was a thing, like back in the early 2000s, I was in it big for multiple years. But there was a cutoff point after about 5 or 6 years where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I was just getting too angry on Sundays, and I think I'm getting there again. Like, I think I'm getting there to where it's like it's too much of a mental load to sit there and focus on it.
Travis, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't watch football anymore. I just don't want to, because I'm watching football and it becomes, how are my players in this game doing? And I'm not really watching it to watch the game. So I just don't watch it anymore.
It's
that's
freeing,
kind of,
isn't it?
I mean, it's hard to determine whether or not I want to play fantasy. Like, I enjoy playing fantasy, but I enjoy
more than watching football.
But I don't enjoy both at the same time. It's frustrating.
I don't enjoy fantasy. To answer Jeff's question, I don't enjoy fantasy football like more than watching football, but it definitely starts to monopolize the enjoyment of the game.
Oh, I know. I've only done fantasy basketball once. And after that one season, I never did it again.
Cool. Yeah, so many games
look at
too.
The whole thing so different, right? Like everything, you look at everything so much differently.
Mm-hmm.
I was cheering like against the Raptors sometimes. I'm like, because I wanted other players to do well, and I'm like, well, yeah. So I was like, no.
Yeah, it's weird sometimes, but you know, that's just the gist of it. I just haven't really watched football very much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still do. Like, I'll still, if I've got an opportunity to put on football, I will, and I'll do my best to just ignore the players themselves and just try and focus on the plays. You know,
I just want to see Taylor Swift in the owners box. That's all I'm watching for.
Man. Cool. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for me. So let's talk some games. What's we got several new things going on. So who wants to go first? All right, I'm gonna pick someone. I'll tell someone. You know what I want to hear about the most is actually Assassin's Creed. So I'm gonna pass it to Jeff then.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start with Forza. So.
That's how we do this. That's how we do this.
There's a method here. I just say there's a reason why I want to get to Forza first.
No, I'm playing.
One, because you guys couldn't care less about it, and we have some stuff that goes with Assassin's Creed talk, so maybe break up that and the news. But Forza came out. It's Forza. If you guys have any questions, go right ahead. It looks really good.
I streamed a little bit of it on my Retroid Pocket 3.
Oh my god,
it was very small. Yeah, my Retroid Pocket 3, my little Android device. I streamed Forza on it.
Oh, okay.
Fucking rules.
120 frames.
60.
Of course.
So
I'll take it.
I do have a question, actually, Jeff. Is this right? This is normal Forza, not Horizon,
It's
right?
standard one, so yeah,
It's the
Forza
boring
proper.
So the full-on simulation.
Yeah, it's the one that
where
most
you're doing-
people are like, if they didn't like it before, they're not gonna like it now. Like nothing. This doesn't turn Forza into fucking Burnout, or in your case, Chris, like a Castlevania game. Like it's not gonna happen. So it's
that's what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? I really need them to make
Castlevania.
Forza more like Castlevania. You know, it's like, hey, is the Batmobile in it? I'll fucking buy it. If the Batmobile's in it.
No.
Like, let's be honest. Okay.
I think the Forza 7 came out in 2000. I want to say it's been 6 years. It's been 5 or 6 years. We've had 2 Horizons since the last Forza, since Forza 7. So it's kind of like a reboot. They've built everything from the ground up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I was afraid of reading reviews and seeing previews and stuff was the reason I really like Forza is because the progression was very easy to understand, and you could just race in the cars that you want to race in, and it was very good for doing that since Forza 3 on. That's when I dropped Gran Turismo when Forza 3 came out, and they revamped it. They made it sound like it was back to a really bad grind, and they took away the freedom to race whatever you want, which they kind of did. You can't just, the way it was kind of structured in the previous games is you had to have a shitty car at the beginning. Once you have enough cars or enough credits to buy a car that you actually want, you could stay in that car for almost as long as you want to. Like they'd kind of adjust races to fit that car, or you can just go to, after you finish like a circuit, you can be like, do the next circuit. It'll ask you like, stay in the same car, pick a new car, a new track, whatever. If you just pick stay in the same car, it'll just pick a circuit that you can race in and still level up. And that was cool. It was a good way of doing it because you just whatever. But I personally found I didn't race in many cars that I would want to. I just picked the ones that I knew and that I liked, but I didn't kind of venture away. And the new reviews, like they said that wasn't the case anymore. And it kind of isn't, because I think I'm repeating myself, but because that part is true. You have to pick a circuit or a bunch of races, like 5 races, and it'll be of a certain class. But then it says, pick a car out of this class, and it'll give you like anywhere from 3 to like 5 options is what I've seen. Once you pick that car, you level up that car while you're in that circuit, and then you open up parts. It's like they call it a car PG. Clever, car PG. So you get money for doing the races, but you can't buy parts with the money. You get car points. You spend these car points on parts that level up your car and make it perform better. And that scared the shit out of me, because I'm like, well, if that's the case, I'm not going to like this, because that's what killed Gran Turismo for me, is how they restricted you to like every little thing, and it was such a grind. But they do have an instant upgrade button, which totally negates all of that if you want to, which I'm fine. So it does have the fast track of that, but it also has the downside of you can't just, once you find a car you really like, you can't just grind the game out to the end by using like that car only. So it's kind of like a weird medium there, that I thought I was going to hate. I just like. I don't like it as much as it was before yet, but I don't hate it. They do weird things to keep you in that kind of mentality of learning your car. Like, there's a practice before every race. So you do like 3 practice laps, and that gets you experience for your car. And I was wondering, like, why can't I skip this? Because if you've already done a track, you kind of know it, and you don't really need to practice for every single race. And I thought there was no way to do it until I saw someone on Twitter say you can, but you have to start the practice. Once the practice starts, hit start, go down to exit, and then there's an option to skip practice. And then when you do that, it says, are you sure you're going to lose out on XP? Like, of course I'm fucking sure. Like, the XP you get from that isn't worth doing it every single time. And that's kind of annoying. So
especially
I'm kind of wondering.
The same car, because it's like if you're on the same track with the same car, like why bother?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of annoying. I'm wondering if they'll fix that. So that's kind of like a weird, quirky thing. I'm like, I wonder why they really did that. But yeah, it looks really good. It's car porn for sure. The weather effects are what looks awesome.
Man, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a Glenn. We have this inside thing going with another group like Sniper and Harlock and stuff. Whenever we think something looks really good, we just say it looks like absolute shit.
Nice.
Or like looks like N64 style type shit. Yeah, we'll
That's
be like,
rude.
oh man, it looks like it should be made on N64 or it was made on N64. But it does look good. I've seen people say it doesn't look that great, and then they'll show an example of a racetrack in like late afternoon when it's overcast, and that is when the game looks the worst, I guess. But guess what else doesn't look good overcast in late afternoon? Real life. Yeah, exactly. It's like that's what they're going for. It's going for realism. Like,
honestly, it sounds like a PlayStation fanboy complaint.
Oh, the racing stuff like this always happens. Yeah. It's I've seen some people who are playing it.
People that just want to, put it down.
Oh,
not even Gran Turismo people. It's just like they don't want Microsoft to have any success or anything good.
One funny thing regarding that, when Gran Turismo 7 came out, this is one of the best, not trolls, but got him moments, was someone was trying to downplay how good Gran Turismo 7 looked, and someone on Twitter put a picture. I can't remember the way they labeled it, but they basically put a picture of real life, like that track in real life with like a car on it, and then Gran Turismo 7, and then somebody was like, see, the one on whatever is the better looking one. The other one on the left looks flat, looks whatever. Like, that's the real life one. The Gran Turismo 7 is the one that you picked. Like, it happens on both sides, and it's just really funny because it's like real life doesn't look awesome all the time in screenshots and in like video. Like, there's a reason why like the burnouts and even Forza Horizon 5, it's like a fantastical, good looking realism. They enhance everything. They add in like a bunch of shit that doesn't happen in real life, like or an abundance of waterfalls where there normally wouldn't be any, or just the crazy shit like that. It's like, that's why those games appeal more to more people, but it does look really good. Yeah, I don't know. That's Forza. Not much more I really have to say about that.
I can see Jeff's like box quote, like for his review. It's like car porn, but all missionary.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what this sounds like to me.
It's like, well, it's the casual car enthusiast game but a lot of really hardcore car enthusiasts, they don't really play, like they play Forza and Gran Turismo, but they usually go for the other, like some of the crazy ones they get on PC that are just insane. I have seen people say that the steering wheel setup is pretty garbage without adjusting anything. I haven't tried my wheel yet. I've been too lazy to bust it out and set up my setup, but maybe I'll do that this weekend. So yeah,
I still miss my Xbox 360 wireless race wheel.
I have one of those
with the triggers on the wheel.
Yep.
That worked so well.
That still works pretty well. You just got to buy an adapter for it. It's just yeah. So if you still have it laying around, you can hook up an adapter and play that on.
I might have
on everything. Yeah, you can hook that to a PS5.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, didn't know that.
We will get to Assassin's Creed then before we go to somebody else until we come back to that. I did play some MK1 some more. I was going to talk about that last week.
Cool.
I like it. I don't love it.
Yeah. There's something off about it.
I think it's me. I don't think it's the game. I just, after going through Street Fighter 6, I don't think I have it in me to learn another fighter right now.
Mm-hmm. Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to, especially when it feels so different, like from the control standpoint. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I think it's great. Everything on paper is like, I should love this game and like be my favorite Mortal Kombat, but I played through some of the story. I just kind of mashed my way through that. I'm not too far. I've seen one fatality because I tried whatever that mode is.
Yeah. They don't have any fatalities in the story mode. Like no fatalities whatsoever.
None. Zero. Which,
well, it would kind of wreck story mode if you did a fatality on someone that you're supposed to meet in the story later on down the line.
I don't think they're too big on canon, but
yeah, you just bring everyone back anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, but so that's I want to get. I definitely want to beat the story. I just need to be honest. I keep forgetting I even have it, and that's
the story's long.
Telling.
Like there's a lot.
Is
to
it? How far are you now? Because I know you started a few weeks back.
I'm maybe another chapter in. I'm not that much farther, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not too far. I don't even know who I think I just finished Johnny Cage's. I don't know. I'm in the.
I'm near the end of Johnny Cage's. That's where I'm at.
Okay, I'm a little bit past there.
Okay.
I played that in one sitting. I don't know what you guys are doing, man.
There's like 15 chapters, dude.
Oh yeah, I put it off for a week because of my debacle with the controller, and then by the time that happened, then other games came out, and that just grabbed me more. So I'm like, shit. I need to do that though. I can.
Yeah, I'm kind of focused on just finishing the couple games that I've got that have been like sitting in my backlog. So I like before next week, because next week's a pretty big week. So I've been focusing mostly on like obviously Baldur's Gate until I finish that, and now Final Fantasy,
which is totally understandable, and I get that for sure. I tried Redfall because we did say the patch came out last week, and they definitely added 60 frames.
Do you want that time back?
I mean, it was 20 minutes. I'm okay with it being gone, but I deleted it right afterwards. I mean, 60 frames doesn't help a shitty game. Like it's just not gonna work. And a lot of the stuff they said they improved is so minimal. Like they said they added stealth kills. And technically they did. The way it was before is if you snuck up on somebody and hit attack, it would be like, hit whatever to stealth kill. You'd literally just hit them with the butt of your gun and then they'd drop. Or you hit them in the back of the knee and they drop. And that was the animation. So now you can only do this with a weapon that has a stake on it. They took the animation that you kill vampires with basically when you jab the stake into their chest and they just put that to their back. So it's not adding the cool shit that Arcane did with you play Deathloop, you play Dishonored, all those games had really badass stealth kills. This is the worst.
That's what they did. Wow.
Cheeks. Yeah, it's really bad. They did put more enemies out there. So when you're walking around, but they still do dumb shit. They still basically wave hi to you when you're shooting at them in the face sometimes. And they spot you and you hide behind a tree and you're much larger than said tree width-wise. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, where'd he go? Like, how do you not oh man, I don't know how much they're going to hold on to this thing for, or how much money they're going to put into it, but it's still not good. And by any means.
The next patch will be
the next one.
Their redemption arc will be complete.
If this was the way it was when it launched, I probably would have at least played another hour or two of it. I'll put it that way, but I'm not saying much. So, does someone else want to go before we get to Assassin's Creed? Or
no, do Assassin's Creed.
I have a question for you, Jeff.
Yeah,
we have to go back and play a game together. Redfall or Haze?
Well, I don't think we can play Haze. I don't think
he's being rhetorical.
I know. I was trying to go with I know he wasn't serious, but seriously playing Haze or Redfall. I would go back to Haze just so I can.
Laughs. Shit.
Yeah.
Is it 4-player? Shit, I play it for laughs.
3 players, I think.
Okay.
Or it might be 4. I don't fucking know. I can't remember. Let's talk about Assassin's Creed. Let's talk about something good-ish.
Yes. So now what I heard about Assassin's Creed is that this was originally, and I think you all mentioned this last week, like it was going to be DLC and they made it a separate thing.
Yeah. A standalone game. It was supposed to be a Valhalla DLC with one of the characters that's in that. Okay. So yeah, it's a throwback to going back to their roots, like a lot of games have done recently. And they want it to go back to kind of like the first era of Assassin's Creed, like 1 through 3, basically. And they do a good job of doing that. They also do a good job of bringing back shitty things that those games did.
Oh no.
Yeah, not it does. It somehow it still feels kind of bloated, and not in the way of like you're doing cool quests. And there's a lot of like side stuff. There's a lot of collecting type things. A lot of the side stuff is repeatable. Not repeatable, but repetitive. They do weird things like you can upgrade your gear and your weapons, but to get the stuff that you need to upgrade that, you have to do the side stuff. So even though it's optional, it kind of isn't. And that's where it kind of drags. The parkouring, I think, is a step down. I am constantly jumping on shit I don't want to, getting stuck on stuff. It doesn't feel as fluid as Valhalla and like those ones did. I don't know about 2 and 3. I'd have to go back.
I'm someone who I did enjoy the jump to a more RPG focused on a game by game basis. Like Origins really didn't do much for me. It didn't have the verticality that I enjoy so much with Assassin's Creed. But Odyssey brought a lot of that back, but also really incorporated the awesome ship combat from Black Flag. And then you also had Valhalla, which was massive, which is absolutely massive, added mountain climbing, and I thought the story was actually pretty fantastic for it. So I'm in a weird place with this. I haven't played the game yet, but I'm in such a weird place with them basically jumping back 15 years almost, like something like 11 or 12 years.
That's 15, I think. Yeah.
I like on paper that they're going back to every enemy can, if you sneak up on them, every single enemy in the game, you can assassinate them in one hit with the hidden blade. Yeah. That's great. I love that. That was completely missing in the last 3 major games in the series. My issue is now it just becomes a cycle. I'm thinking about Assassin's Creed long term because they really parsed it down. It's a focus city. Yeah, it's bloated, but in all fairness, Assassin's Creed 2 is pretty bloated. You go back and look at the icons on that map, it is bloated.
Oh, there's a lot of icon barf all over that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's par for the course, in my opinion, for what the old school Assassin's Creed used to do. I kind of like that. The completionist in me, just like I see an icon, go do it and conquer it. It's just good for my ADD. So but my concern,
like too, to be honest.
My concern though is with the future of Assassin's Creed, of where they're going, because jump back 12 years, Assassin's Creed was what it was, and it kept on improving, kept on adding things, kept on adding strategy battles with Ezio, and then made it open world, added RPG elements, and now we're going back to almost square one, let's say square 2.
Yeah, it's a step up from the first one for sure.
Yeah, but where do we go from here? We're just going to repeat the cycle of adding more and adding more and adding more. I don't understand what Ubisoft is doing. I like it on paper.
So you have been playing it as well then?
I haven't been playing it, but I'm just concerned that it's we're just restarting the cycle. So in 10 more years, it's going to be an RPG again?
Yeah, well, eventually probably. Yeah, I don't know.
It's such a weird decision, even though I do kind of like it.
It sounds like it's not all negative. These are just some of the negative things I started with. But it is definitely a step up from what the first one was in terms of content. The way everything's stitched together is much better. I'm not so high on the characters yet. I'm about 8 hours in.
I hear it's a step down on the whole. There's a couple of good characters, but on the whole, it's
there's been 2 characters there's one character that's kind of like his friend, which kind of she disappears for a bit and then comes back, and it's just a weird situation because he seems to not care what happened in between there.
Yeah, it's Sheree Agchalu, who is a phenomenal actress and voice actress. She was the leader of Tali from Mass Effect. She was the leader of Tali.
No, that's a different character. That's the leader of the assassins.
That's who I'm.
The friend of hers, the friend of his is someone different. It's like a childhood friend of his that he grew up with, and then the other character I was going to say is her. She's good, but it's It's nothing to like write home about yet. Nothing's been like something that wouldn't be like predictable. It's pretty by the book and by the numbers storytelling. The character models they look dead. Like when they look at you, except for the main characters, they're pretty bad. But the overall world looks phenomenal. It looks really good. It animates well when it does what you want it to do.
Does it seem lived in? Like
yes, it does. It does, except for the repeating like NPCs, repeating to a fault. Like you expect that in a big game. But like, yeah, a lot of the NPCs look exactly the same, even like some of the merchants and stuff like that. And, more so than say like Oblivion did, or like,
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like when Bethesda was really
what about like 1 and 2? Like I if I remember correctly, like AC2 did feel pretty lived in. Like there was quite a bit.
It feels lived in. Like it's bustling. It's a lot of NPCs.
But are there
everywhere.
are the NPCs? Is there more variety than say AC2 was?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm mostly comparing to. Yeah, I'm probably more comparing it to like modern games. But it's noticeable like immediately. And another like I was wondering how the hell do you get money? Use pickpocketing. Pickpocketing is really good in this. It's probably the only way you're going to get enough money and trinkets to sell to get money to do anything with. But the items are cool. Like the smoke bomb is the smoke bomb. It's OP. You get this really cool shadow ability where you can mark multiple targets and then he jumps like phases to each one of them and assassinates them. That's really cool. Like the moment to moment gameplay.
Is that built off that move? Is that built off of like a consumable bar that you have to build up?
It is. Yes, of course. Yeah. It's the Ubisoft special. That's like, yeah, you start with 2 and you can upgrade it to 3 and 4. And the skill trees aren't humongous, which I also like at first, until you start realizing that there's not much to them outside of a few things that are cool. So it kind of has that weird. I like that there's definitely a lot less loot and less skills than the modern ones, but there's not enough to keep the combat interesting outside of just the cool factor of when you actually pull something off that you wanted to, like when you're raiding like a stronghold or something and you're like, oh, that was cool. Like you figure out where to find a key to get into a door, to, like set something on fire, like distract the guards. But then in between those, you're kind of like, well, now what? Like that's the weird thing. There's a lot of icons, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot to do, and it's really hard to explain because there's a lot to do, but it's not.
There's not a lot of variety of what you're doing. Is that what the problem is?
Not yet anyway. And I keep saying not yet, but I'm like 8 hours and I've done quite a few side stuff because I want to get certain armors and upgrade stuff. So I've done, I'm probably split right down the middle right now. 4 hours story, 4 hour side stuff. And I have not had a big variety of quests or missions to go about. Like I did one today that I got to ride in like a boat thing for the first time. I thought that was kind of cool. But as far as I can tell by looking at the map, that could be the only time I ever do that. So, because I mean, you're in a desert, you're not exactly surrounded by water.
Yeah. So, one of the things, what Assassin's Creed 1, and they expunged upon it, and I think up to a certain point, at a certain iteration, they just kind of stopped being creative or allowing the player to be creative with it. But like, even way back in 1, one of the big things that they pushed was that, okay, Altair can perch himself up in a situation. He has an assassination target, and you have a multitude of options.
Oh yeah, I want to get to this.
Get there. So I want to ask you how they approach that in this game, because if they're going back to the original style of gameplay, we're in a post. Hitman just had a renaissance in the last 5 years. We could say like it really came back and people enjoyed it. And that's a game where, like, when I look at Assassin's Creed and where I want it to go, that's the direction I want it to go. How well do they give you freedom when it's like, okay, this is assassination time. This is the big boss target. Do what you want to do.
So I've done 2 of those so far. The one that was a main story one, and one that I think might have just been a bigger side quest one. The main story one definitely had cool stuff to do that you can kind of I found this out after. If you do certain things while you're trying to take them out, it'll trigger like a cinematic assassination, which is cool to look at. I did that for the first one. So you had to do certain things like I said, like get a key to open a door, do another thing. And a lot of the stuff didn't seem like it was too vague either. I mean, I did it my first try without even knowing. I was just kind of thoroughly trying to go through this area because you had to. The thing is, you had to lure him out of his throne or whatever. So I ended up having to pay someone I had to get a guy who was holding slaves to give me the deed, and then I gave the deed back to the slaves, which means that they're not owned by them anymore. It causes this ruckus. He comes out. I went up on the perch and killed him. Slow motion. Cool. Now I got to escape. So that was cool. I wouldn't put it anywhere near Hitman levels.
No, of course not.
That was cool.
But it does sound that they thought about it. Like they wanted to give you multiple options, which is good. That's where I wanted it to be.
Yeah, and the second one was I just had to wait there, and then they came up, and then I just picked a good spot to jump down and jab him in the neck with a knife. But the lead up to them are pretty cool. Like the missions are, you have these targets, and then you have to find clues by doing stuff around it. Not around it, around like there's certain missions that open up clues to tell you where they are, what time they're going to be there, whatever. These different aspects to unlock it, and those are cool. So you're actually doing like 3 or 4 smaller quests just to reveal where that target is. And I think the first one kind of did something like that. I don't really remember. I didn't really like the first one too much. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so yeah, they do think about it, and I think all the main targets do have some kind of some kind of version of that you're kind of looking for. Cool. Maybe in Assassin's Creed 2, it'll be, and I really do think that's what we're back at again. It's funny because you said like where we're going to be in like another 15 years. Is I think the second one of this will be the one that everyone's like, oh shit, this is back. Because I do like this more than the new one. Like the newer ones are great, but I just don't think they're Assassin's Creed. They didn't feel like Assassin's Creed games to me. Yeah. But I only played 1 and 2. And sorry, I had an perfect example of what I said when they took away things a little bit too much. Like there's so many opportunities in this game where there's 2 guards standing next to each other, and was it 2 where they put in the 2 blades and you can take them out at the same time?
You can do the 2, yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that in this. Like there's other ways to take down 2 people, but it's you don't have that, and it's such a like I'm like, oh, there's so many opportunities I could have done that here. They are cool ways you can do like chain assassinations and stuff like that. But just
What about weapons? Are you stuck with just like one style of weapon, or do you have? Because like I remember like the Ezio games later evolved to where like you can have whatever weapon that you choose, sword, daggers, whatever, but you could also like disarm enemies. Like you can disarm a pike or an axe from an enemy guard and use that on them in a combo and stuff. Do they do anything like that?
No. The combat is actually something I think they can totally improve upon. You have your sword and you have a dagger, and you can get different versions of each. That's it. And then of course you got your throwables and stuff. You got your throwing knives, which are badass, your smoke bombs, your noise makers, blow pipe or whatever. So they do it. It's controls like the Souls way. Right bumper is to attack, hold it down, strong attack. Left bumper is parry, and then X or square is dodge, depending on what you're playing on. The problem is the enemy will flash red if you have to dodge, flash white if you have to parry. That happens so quickly, you almost have to guess which one it's going to be. Yeah. And then when in doubt, just dodge, because the dodge is going to get away from either one of those attacks. It sucks because you're not doing the cool parry and then like the instant kill. That was cool about it, the old Assassin's Creed games. Like you could do these cool counters that would like insta kill, and like you said, you get one of the animations might be he grabs the guy's axe and cracks him in the head. Like none of that's really in this at all right now. Right, which is kind of mind-boggling because this game has been they made a big deal. It's been 3 years since Valhalla. Yeah, it came out the year.
Yeah, it was it was the year of the year after
new
the
consoles,
release, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a year of the new consoles.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I feel like, okay, we're going back to the old style, but it feels like they would have incorporated everything that worked in that old style.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's like they really went back to the old style. Like you even said the verticality. There isn't much verticality. yeah, you're on rooftops and stuff, but they're like 2 stories, maybe 3 stories high. Even the perches and stuff aren't that high, so you don't get that like crazy holy shit, I'm way up here feeling. And it does really sound like I'm being negative, and it is. I think it's scoring around what it should, which I think is like around the like mid 70s, I think, and it is a cheaper. I think it's $20 cheaper than a regular game.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so I think it is. There's everything that I think it's a good blueprint again. Like the second one should be better, but I do really like the fact that they're going back to this. And then
I know a lot of people don't care about this, but I do.
It's good.
Do they go with any of the modern day story with Bassam? Because where we leave Bassam, where we leave Bassam in Valhalla is actually very, very, very interesting.
Now I don't know because I didn't beat Valhalla. That game is way too long. But it is a prequel. It's his origin story, basically. So
I know, but there's usually like a little bit of a intro where like they have to at least go into the machine to get into.
No, there's been like no animus whatsoever. There's been
interesting.
Yeah, no, it literally starts with the Bassam is like a kid, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, or like a young adult, like a teenager.
Don't they start off like with animus talk, like in the?
No.
Really? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
I thought they were like, okay, we're.
I don't think they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I mean, like, and if they did, it was very, very quick. But yeah, they might have been like Animus, and then you're there. Like, I don't know. Like, they definitely don't have a sub character like they normally do. Like, what's his face in the first 3?
Okay.
Or first 2.
I don't know who they are.
I could be wrong, but I know you did play like the first like little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't control anything in there. That's for sure.
Right.
Like you're not moving anyone around, and I don't remember seeing anyone with modern clothing or anything.
I just remember a digital representation, and then us going to
Baghdad, or there might have been like that static thing, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like in terms of like the story, I don't think they really do anything from that. Visually, maybe at the beginning, but
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'll check. Well, maybe we'll talk about more. I don't know if you're planning on getting it eventually, Travis, or what your backlog's looking like. So
yeah, I probably will too at one point or another.
Probably after Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. But we usually do this towards the end, but we're talking about Assassin's Creed now, and everything that came in from listeners is all Assassin's Creed related.
Cool.
Okay.
Just quickly, ow. Poke myself in the eye. My glasses.
Oops.
So I just threw out a quick question, like, what do people think of the new Assassin's Creed? What do they think about it going back to the roots or whatever? So we have Vladric from the show says, love that they went back to this style. I hated the style of the last couple games. So I wonder if he means as in all 3?
What do you got against Vikings, man?
Odyssey or Vikings, yeah.
Jeez.
How do you not like the Greek stuff?
Those are my
also
people.
too fucking long. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my only issue with them.
They're
so
too
long. Like I just wanted something that I could finish in like 40 hours. Like I just, I feel like that's still a pretty big action game. That's 40 hours. And
this is only supposed to be like 15 to 20 at max.
Yeah, that's fucking fine. Yeah. I am okay with that.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like as I said, I've talked about Odyssey before. I put like 80 hours into Odyssey and felt like I didn't even make a dent. You know?
I easily put over 100 into Odyssey for sure.
Yeah, and Odyssey was great. Like I loved that, and like the big thing for me with Assassin's Creed is the environments that you're in. Like what's the moment of history that you're trying to talk about? Which is why I didn't really like 3. I was like the American Revolution. I'm like, whatever. It's like I already know all I need to know about that. But like
the intro to 3 is like the entirety of Mirage.
What's that?
I said the intro to 3 is like the length of the entirety of Mirage. If you played 3, you'd know that.
Yeah, but like 4 was the last one that I beat, and I just loved that. Like the whole pirate scene and everything. That was really fun.
Yeah, to this day, Black Flag is like the GOAT.
Black Flag is great. Like I
had
had so much fun with it. but I didn't play Unity, so I don't know much about that. But Odyssey was great, just too much, and then Valhalla, I was just completely overwhelmed out of the gate with that game, with Valhalla.
Mm.
It's a lot.
You like Origin?
I didn't play Origin, actually, now that I think about it.
Origin, I liked Origin.
Okay.
Again, I didn't beat it, so it was fun. Kurt the gamer, he says this is what an AC game should be. I would love to see this moving forward. I feel the RPG tries too hard and takes away the essence of what the Assassin's Creed games should be and were. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, that's right.
Dano from Twitter also says, absolutely love the return to the roots. The last few AC games were amazing. Origins and Odyssey anyway never got to Valhalla, but they didn't feel like Assassin's Creed games. This does. Yeah. The other ones are just they're RPG. They're action.
Yeah,
RPGs, basically.
They're so dense, and there's and there's a lot more to consider when you're playing. Like a lot, the RPG elements put in there and everything.
Yep. Amy Maisie on
What's
the
up,
threads. She says, I haven't played any.
Wow. Okay.
On the threads, she says, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since 2.
Wow.
I've heard the newer games are fun and more RPG-like, but I'm not sure which ones I'd even enjoy playing. Looking forward to hearing thoughts about Mirage. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Cool.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of thoughts, and I do recommend it, especially if you like Assassin's Creed. I think you would absolutely like that. It seems to be everyone's jam who really like the original ones. They seem to love
the first
this one.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. I did like the second one, and I like this game. I don't love it so far, but I definitely.
But you probably had expectations. Like, I mean,
I had, especially because I like Black Flag. Again, I didn't beat it because I was hardly beat games back then. Because I mean, we were doing that was like when like Indus was still kind of like, well, I guess it was into the new generation, but I was,
Black Flag. I played it on PS4.
Yeah, and I just I couldn't beat it. But that was I remember like really liking what they introduced and just having so many things taken away that were so good about those ones in this. So I'd recommend it.
Do you have any more feedback from?
That's it from the listeners. So I want to hear about Lords of the Fallen. But before that, if you have a question there,
real quick, yeah. So he wasn't on the Twitter thread, but Eddie Kusanagi on our Patreon community page, he actually chimed in back, I would say last week. But I want to read what he said.
Oh yeah, it would have been before it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is important. He says, I finished Mirage. I haven't beaten an Assassin's Creed since Black Flag. I think Mirage is very solid and has a lot of the Ezio era mechanics and even combat and progression style. But it also steals a couple of things from Origins and the open world Assassin's Creed. I think it's a really good blend. I might be a little biased because this Assassin's Creed is in my hood, the Middle East. I'm even playing it in Arabic with Arabic subtitles, and it is very well done as far as the language accuracy and the translations go, which cool is really cool.
Yeah,
because
that's really cool.
You would think that would probably be the way to play, and knowing that it's not a one-to-one translation from English to Middle Eastern languages, Arabic. That's really, really good because like when you're localizing that, like phrases and mannerisms don't always pass over. So it's good that they really took the time and made that a complete feature. So
I want to ask Eddie how he thinks the voice acting is in Arabic, because that can like make a world of difference. And because some of the voice acting in English is real bad, not so much for the main characters, but everything outside of the three main ones that I've met.
Playing in Arabic with English subtitles could be interesting.
That's what I mean. Yeah, because a lot of people watch anime with Japanese and English subtitles. That's like they say that's the way to go. Maybe. Thanks, Eddie. Good reach on that one. I totally forgot that that happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the chat. It's pretty cool that he actually played it in Arabic.
Travis,
right?
Or Jason.
Lords of the Fallen, yes.
Yeah, let's talk about Lords of the Fallen. It's a game.
It is.
It's a game that I happen to be playing. I'm about 4 hours.
Does it go back to its roots? Because they rebooted, right?
It is a reboot, but it's a whole new dev team starting from scratch. I did play a little bit of Lords of the Fallen, the OG, back in the day, and I immediately was shut off. Didn't like it. I kind of appreciated the ideas they were going for there, but just the gameplay it wasn't there. It didn't have that Souls tightness that I would have liked. So I had high hopes for this. Recently, they've been doing a lot of advertising and marketing on, doing some deep gameplay dives. TikTok has been on fire with people with early access to this game and playing it. And what I've been seeing has been getting me hyped up. So I had higher expectations going into playing this game than I did, say, 2-3 weeks ago. It's a pretty good game so far. I'm enjoying it. But there are, coming off of Lies of P, that is a 1-to-1 rendition of a From Software experience. This absolutely is not that. Right off the jump.
Is it trying to be?
It isn't.
Okay.
But I think games should try to be, because sometimes it just doesn't feel good in your hands when you're playing it. This is why I don't get into games like Neo or Neo 2. Combat just seems like the animations when you're swinging your sword or swinging your weapons, you don't feel like you're in control, whether in a Souls game or in Lies of P. I felt like I was in control of every single swing. It's loose, it's rigid, and I can immediately tell the difference between what a good Souls-like plays and what a fine Souls-like plays. So I'm coming to grips with that. It doesn't make it a non-starter or a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination, but it is something that I noticed right from the jump. But I'm getting used to it. I've done a couple of boss battles. They do a good job there. Good move sets. Tells in their move sets that are easy, challenging, but kind of easy to get used to after a couple of tries on the bosses. It looks really good, and that goes double because they have this really interesting mechanic where, kind of similar to Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, or what was that survival horror game that launched on Game Pass? The one where we had the two worlds and basically had two levels, like a hell level and a real life
Medium?
level. Medium? No. Yeah, the medium.
Oh,
the
really?
Medium.
Okay.
The medium.
The one that was like Resident Evil type thing?
Yeah, kind of similar to that. So they do that mechanic in here. You have this lantern that you can hold up, and it's used twofold. So you can look around and you can find shortcuts. So if you're walking around in the real world and you have this gate or these boulders falling in the in your path, you can hold up the lantern and you can get a glimpse if the real world has the ability for you to pass through that, and then you can go into the world of the dead and sneak through there and then make your way through, or you can play through that level, because you can't just lift up your lamp, go into the other world, and then put your lamp down, and then you're out of that world. Once you go into that world, you're in that world, but they don't want to keep you in there. Enemies are always spawning. It's a good place to farm for souls, but you're on a time limit. If you're in there too long, the enemies progressively get harder, more plentiful. And then over time, some unkillable boss enemies start popping up, or at least unkillable in my stage of the game. And they start popping up. So when you're out there looking in the world of the dead and you're looking for places to some secrets, or you have to find the exit progressively while you're doing that. I don't like that kind of stress when I'm playing a stressful game like a Souls-like very much.
Sound fun.
And it also does this thing, on paper, I like this option that they give you this keyhole to peep through to find secrets around the world. I like that. And there are tons of secrets strewn all over the place. So the level design's really great and the item placement's pretty good. So when I was watching previews of this, I'm like, I'm really going to dig this mechanic. I like it. I like what I see here. But in practice so far, just in the first 4 hours, maybe it gets better. I don't know. Early impressions. But I'm having the problem with the important thing for me in Souls-likes are immersion. I felt immersed in Lies of P. I felt immersed in Dark Souls, Demon Souls. Like, I like being in that headspace playing these games. But I'm getting the Batman Arkham Asylum syndrome right now with this game, because like I always found myself like, I want to walk around and be Batman, and it's a beautiful world, and you're just looking around, seeing where enemies are. But half the time I just found myself
have your lantern up.
I'm just in detective mode.
Yeah,
essentially.
I figure that's where you're going.
And it just takes me out, man. I don't want to sit here and it's like slow. When you're holding it up, you're walking so slow. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't want to keep looking around holding my lantern up. I want to go. They built a really, really good world. And that is honestly, aside from the boss battles that I've fought so far, the highlight is the level design. This is one of the better designed worlds of a linear Souls-like since Dark Souls 1. Like, it is crafted well into each other, and it's built as one big world. Like, when you're standing on the ledge and you look out, there are these beacons of light that you eventually have to get to, because I'm assuming there's going to be a boss there. And they're all present, always present in the world. So like, you can look around and be like, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. This huge rock hand that's like digging out of the mountain range, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go there. And it's all interwoven, from what I can tell so far, all interwoven pretty well. And I kind of like that the most out of the game. But at the end of the day, gameplay is key for this genre, and I can't. 4 hours in, I cannot guarantee I'm going to finish this game. I need to work at it more and see how it grows on me, because as of right now, I'm enjoying my time, but I don't know at what point am I going to get frustrated, because like in Lies of P, if I die, I feel like I made that mistake. In this game, I've died multiple times by the game. Just, if this game was built better, that wouldn't have happened. Like, swings with a sword, like suddenly like I shoot forward and fall off a cliff. I'm like, whoa, there's no way I should have slid that forward to fly off this ledge. Like, it's just like a lot of weirdness. It's super rigid. You never feel like you're in full control of that character when you're attacking. So
I was going to ask you some questions, but I think some of the questions I would have to probably wait until you're much further. Because I was kind of like you, like the build up. This game has always been on my radar for a while. In the last couple of weeks, it really got on my radar, especially when Fexture Life had that preview, and previews started coming out being like, this game is awesome. Mind you, they all played it in a small window, and it wasn't the full game. They played like a certain amount of hours of it or whatever. Then reviews started coming out, and they were very mixed. Like, some were saying this is a fucking great Soulsborne like game, and some were saying, no, this needs a lot of work, it's really bad. And most of the bad ones came down, a lot of it had to do with like performance.
Okay.
So, and a lot of people were playing it on I guess the early codes, a lot of them were on PC. So I didn't see a lot of reviews on Xbox or PlayStation. So that one, I'm sure you can at least somewhat answer, is if does it run? Because some of these, they were showing like single digit frames at certain points. It's like, whoa.
So I know that they have released a couple of patches for consoles as of us having this conversation right now. So my experience so far, I'm playing on PlayStation 5 in performance mode, and I may have had a couple of instances where I may have dropped like 10 frames, and then one instance in a 4 or 5 hour playthrough where I felt a hitch, like an actual hitch. But other than that, it's performed well.
Because I could deal with that, even with like some before I could like that'll be patched. But one review, because I almost, like an idiot, I almost impulse bought it, be like, oh, I'll play it after Spider-Man or something. So I have something right after Spider-Man. But then I watched GameSpot's review, and they gave it a 5, and I was like,
Wow.
All right, let's see if they have the same shit. But all the negative things they said about it were shit that I do not like in games. Never mind, like it wasn't performance based, and it had to do with a lot of what they do. They said the game does not really respect your time, and there's times where you'll fight like 5 bosses basically back to back to back, or boss like characters, and if the last one kills you, you have to go through that gauntlet all over again. Yeah, and they got to the point where they didn't have any fun playing the game, so they would just run through new areas. And they did also mention what you said about that alternate world where you're exploring it, but you also have to find the exit. And they said that the levels can be so big. He mentioned a part where he was exploring for 2.5 hours, and what he got at the end of that breadcrumb trail or whatever he was going was not even worth it. And he felt like he was wasting like hours at a time at certain times playing the game when it doesn't feel rewarding. So those things were like, ooh, that was a big red flag for me. So it stopped me from doing the impulse buy. That's why I think maybe next week you can let me know if that's affecting you, because I know some people will speak in hyperbole, like won't be, it might have just pissed them off at like the late part, and they're like, okay, that affected it. But yeah, I'd like to see what you think about that later on when you're another, like, I don't know, 10 hours or so.
Yeah, I'm early on, so I'm not really at a point to really see any major items drop. But we'll see. We'll see. I can see where I wouldn't be surprised if I felt the same, because I can just, like, in this, the developer did a good job. This is way, way, way better than the first Lords of the Fallen. Like, if you somehow like the first Lords game, you're gonna fucking love this game. Like, it's a huge jump up. But coming off, like, I am very picky about the genre, and coming off in my opinion, a 10 out of 10 in Liza P. It just doesn't hit that mark gameplay wise. And, like, look, rewards could be short. It could have like so bosses. As long as the gameplay is good, I'm in. I'm there. Like, I don't think you enjoyed it, Jeff, but like, I thought Ashen, like, for me, like, it just had played Ashen. Tight, heavy controls. I really enjoyed Ashen for what it was. Like, it doesn't look good. It's got a really weird awesome.
I get Ashen mixed up with, is that the one with the no faces? Like, they have no face? Okay, I did play like a trial of that or demo or something, yeah.
It was very limited, not good rewards, really shitty bosses, but like the day-to-day, moment-to-moment gameplay was so, like, it just felt good and heavy and tight. And I enjoyed that game for what it was, because gameplay is king, and that is my biggest concern with this game so far. But it is okay. Like, I think at best, this will be like a 7.5, maybe an 8 if it really picks up. But yeah, I'm floating. I would float around. I wouldn't be surprised if I floated around a 7 for this game if I finish it. Yeah,
it doesn't sound terrible.
Crazy.
Cool.
Unfortunately,
doesn't sound terrible. And then the other thing I played, dug into a little bit more. I didn't really play much of this week, but last week I blitzed through some Baldur's Gate 3 and made it to the end of Act 2.
Sweet.
Nice. So I'm in the Mind Flare colony at the end of Act 2 right there. So yeah, dude, I'm a little scared. I got a little intimidated.
There's a pretty cool reveal and end there at that within there. So you're getting to some good stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited. So I'll dig into that more, but we're edging closer to Spider-Man, so everything's going to take a back seat when that title drops. So that's all I've been playing. And who is up next?
I've been doing some retro gaming, actually.
Okay, nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be a Mr. owner right now, because they've been making daily updates to like the beta and 64 core. And it's just been amazing to see like how far that and fast that's been progressing. So trying out games on that. Like, I remember just like a few weeks ago, like Super Mario 64 barely ran. Like, Mario didn't have a face, you know, when he rendered.
Too much texture.
Yep.
Texture.
And now it looks almost pixel perfect. So they're almost ready to release that core. But one core that did release was the Saturn core.
I'm listening.
Yeah. However, it's not. I don't think it's ready for prime time yet. I don't think they should have released it yet. But a lot of games don't load. A lot of games just kind of freeze up. I had a couple games just like during the FMV, like start repeating themselves, like a broken record, essentially. Just like
simulating.
The Saturn like the hardest console to emulate? Because I feel like it's always that problem.
They said it was going to be the N64 for the Mister.
For them?
There was a time when people thought and said there's no way it's ever going to be done on a Mister, but they're almost there. Saturn is another tough one to emulate, but they're totally getting there. I definitely played a few games that it's like this seems perfect. So it's very, very close, and it's super exciting. And Saturn's the one for a lot of people, I think. And
it's so fucking expensive to collect for. That's probably one of the main reasons.
Yes, it is. I have, I've
it's insane.
Several that are on the shelf that have appreciated.
You can put a down payment on another house.
Thought. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy,
right? Oh, I gotta try Magical Night Wraith. Oh shit, there's a lot that I gotta try. And even like N64 stuff is almost perfect now. It's great. But everything if you're unfamiliar with the Mister, it's all hardware based. So it's like perfect cycles and stuff. Like it's better than actual software emulation. Because it's emulating the hardware and not the software essentially. So that's a very layman's, and I'm probably
it's like the basic of basics. Yeah. No, I appreciate when you speak like that with the stuff. It's like okay.
But I'm so happy with this fucking Mister thing, dude. It's an exciting time. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Chris.
I don't really have much else to add. Like as I said, I was playing Final Fantasy 16. I got through Titan, so I finished him off.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine.
God damn it!
I got a bone to pick with you.
Go ahead, Travis. Go ahead.
That was the most epic fight.
It was fucking epic. And then after his second form, it should have just fucking ended.
No,
I think be done. It was so good after that. And then
adversary that big, man, it has to come down to the very end, and you have to keep going at him. He's such a beast. He is.
I mean, I really just think that
imposing that character was. And
I don't disagree. I think they should have ended it on a high note with that second battle.
But the third one was not necessary. So
the arms.
Yeah, I know.
The arms.
It's almost like they did that in Lord of the Rings or something. I don't know.
I will say though, when you get the gameplay is really good up until that point, but once you get the Titan abilities, your combos, your finisher combos when you stagger bosses, it really
I'm listening. Which Titan ones did you guys really like?
The main Titan one, the main Titan move you want is the multi-punch. You always want to start off when you stagger a big enemy, you always want to make sure that you start off with that multi-punch because that's going to build up your multipliers. Stagger. Yeah. Your damage multipliers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I always used the I don't remember the name of the icon, but the bird claw one where you scratch the claws. Yeah, and that's what I use.
This is an upgraded version. Hits. It's an upgraded version of that essentially. So just swap that out. Yeah,
because I always have that on. Because the when you get to half stagger and you can pull them down, that's necessary.
That's why I didn't get rid of that. That's why I kept that one.
Yeah, I will always have that one on. So whether or not I put other things in on that icon, if they're mastered, that's a different story. But I will always have that thing on.
When you get all the icons unlocked, I'll shoot you over my I'll take a screenshot of my build because I have it's perfect.
I think that's an interesting thing to kind of bring up about Final Fantasy.
Right.
It's like we're talking about Final Fantasy, and Travis is going to send me his build for Final Fantasy. It's something that I never thought
awesome.
would ever be a thing, you know? And here we are talking about that. It's like you can easily see that for games like, you know, Skyrim or Fallout or Baldur's Gate or something like that. But Final Fantasy, yeah, I'll send you over my build and you can check it out. Sure. I just think that's a very interesting new route.
And then they've got
Final
those
Fantasy
like
in general.
Completely over the top, just like epic boss fights, like a God of War or a Devil May Cry.
So good.
Yeah. It was, and you know, don't get me, they're fine. Don't get me wrong. It was great. But I just think that it would have been better if they would have just ended it after the really big one.
The thing is,
like, I got so much flack.
Not loving that fight makes me think like you are not gonna like the rest of the game. It's just like
I don't think the other
being
bosses
a bit
don't,
hype for like the
yeah.
Sorry, it's just that like that is one of the things that I think Final Fantasy 16 did so well is the epicness of those fights, and then it's like the epicness of that, and it's just like. Better.
And it went from epic to
we get it. No, that's fine.
To find. I know.
Yeah, to find.
Yeah, it's all right.
Shit.
Fuck off.
But I'll reiterate, Chris. The other boss fights do have multi stages, obviously, but they don't
last like that.
They don't last as long as that one. Yeah,
it's all downhill from here, kid.
Yeah. Honestly, that means that's probably better for me at this point.
Cool.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But,
Slightly under.
I'm still one of the things that I started doing is I went to the blacksmith, whose name I can't remember now. But he had some upgrade. He had some things that I could craft that had materials from the bounties. So now one of the things I'm doing is I am like, whenever a new bounty pops up, I am focusing on that. Like I'm doing the bounties. I'm working on some of the ones in the desert right now. But fucking one of them got me like 5,000 XP. It got me like to the next level and like halfway through the next one. So that was nice. But yeah, the whenever I see something that has a material with a little Moogle on it, I'm like, all right, let's go do some hunts. Because the gear that I got from it was vastly superior than anything else that was available at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been focusing on that a lot too. But I'm still really enjoying it. I am still, you know, every time I boot it up, I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying it, considering I have been very low key on Final Fantasy over the past decade, you know, in reality. So yeah, 16 is really hitting the spot. Really hitting the spot. Good. So I don't know when I'll get there, but after 16 is done, I look forward to going back and playing the 7 remake again, and starting that up. Especially now that they've mentioned Rebirth, and I did see that they are going to be selling a combo pack with Rebirth. So I don't. I have the remake on PS Plus, but that's it. So I don't actually own the game, so I might end up getting that combo pack just to.
Don't go to Best Buy because they won't have it.
But yeah, that's it for me, man. I'm going to try and finish that up this week because next Friday is going to be a big day. It's going to be a big day.
It will be.
It's Friday the 13th again.
I'm taking off all day.
Friday the 13th too.
Ooh.
Just a heads up for people who might know, even though this is going to go up also on a Saturday, next week's show is either at the earliest going to go up Saturday, possibly Sunday.
Probably Sunday. Like I think
we do have
Saturday, right?
Yeah, we all have Friday off, and we want to get in a lot of the Spider-Man 2s before we
by choice or not.
Well, 50% of us.
Let's wait. Hold on. Let's say that. Let's say that a different way, Jeff. None of us are working on next Friday.
None of us are. I feel like that's more of a dig. My God.
I think Travis is going to.
We're all going to play Spider-Man next Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And something else. Nobody
What's
else has
something-
mentioned it.
Mario.
Oh, I'm not getting
Mario. Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah.
Mario. I pre-ordered Mario too.
Hmm.
So
I'm
yeah,
torn
I'll be
between
playing both
that
of
and RPG. Like I've got one of those vouchers.
Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, that
Are they
I
out on the
gotta
same day?
cash in. No,
I don't
no.
think so. Is it? Mario RPG is next month, I think. isn't it?
Oh,
Right.
Cash. Okay, gotcha. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I just
Yep.
don't know which of those two to get. So
Yeah.
I had to get one.
I'm
of them.
still debating on whether or not I'm going to jump on Mario RPG right away. I know I'm going to get it at one point or another.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's just a matter if it's going to be right out of the gate. But
I
Mario
just-
Wonder, I gotta get it.
I just wonder if Griffin's gonna really dig RPG. Like I wonder.
I bet he would. Like
Yeah.
it's really
good.
It's
He's
pretty-
super good at
it's
reading
pretty good.
now. So like, and
Awesome.
and he liked.
He picked up all those swear words and stuff from
Yeah.
playing VR, so he's gonna be like, "This game's
Season-
lame."
This game's for babies.
Yeah,
Oh
it's his
shit!
baby game.
Than my innocent
Oh,
sweet
man.
child. Oh God.
He's gonna play more without you knowing it, and he's gonna come back and he's gonna be like, "Dad, what's a cracker?"
Yep.
What's a blumpkin?
Oh man. Cool. Jeff, what do we got for news today, buddy?
We got a few news items on the agenda.
One that I think I'm
Um,
going to get really angry at. Okay.
Okay, well, we're going to do that one last. I think that's the one we probably have the most to talk about.
Probably.
Yeah, the first one's the biggest news, but everyone's been talking about it for 20 fucking months. Finally, the Microsoft Activision Blizzard King merger it's done deal.
Yay, you did
Microsoft
it!
owns them now.
Congratulations.
After a year and a half, more than a year and a half, I guess. Yeah, 20 months. So that's going to be a thing. I figure we might go into more detail about what we want to see from this, and once we kind of hear more details of what they plan to do. So that's why we're not going to go into much detail. And honestly, I'm so tired. I'm just glad we don't have to talk about that anymore.
Game
Stuff's
Pass is
Well,
going to be
one-
pretty fucking phenomenal. I gotta say.
One thing we can
that is
add
true.
to that is Kotick is leaving.
Yes,
Yep.
Kotick is gone January 1st, so he's going to be there for the transition period. Yeah, so that is good. And you know who else is gone?
GTFO. Who?
John Riccatello. He
See
has
ya, dude.
resigned from Unity. We
ya,
talked
dude.
about that.
Trails.
Yeah.
Go
That
fuck
was,
yourself.
ooh, man.
Yep.
There
Yep.
was,
We talked about that a couple weeks ago, and he definitely got canned. They said he resigned, but let's be honest, it was
No, that was
it was
not
effective
resigning.
immediate. No,
Yeah,
he
that
got
was not
canned. He got
resigning.
shit canned. Yeah.
I'm on a couple of there's a couple of games that I've backed in the past, and I'm like in their Discord, and there was a lot of talk about just how shitty it was that Unity went that direction, and I'm glad they ended up backing out of that. So
Yeah.
Yep. Then the last bit of news is these were rumored for a while. We're 3 years into this generation, so talk about redesigns of consoles to make them smaller and slimmer. So Sony was the first to
and
come out. They
cheaper. Oh wait,
That's not a thing anymore, apparently. Sony announced their PS5 Slim model, both the digital only and the disc version. The digital only version also has the ability to plug in a hard drive that they can sell separately for the cheap price of $79.99.
Hard drive or a disk drive?
a disc drive.
Disk drive.
drive.
Sorry, did I say hard drive?
Yeah.
Disk drive. Thank you. The digital version is going to sell for retail at $449.99, and the disc version is $499.99.
That sounds familiar.
Okay, so let's start with the good part. I think that
It's smaller.
well, whatever.
It's fine.
The way that they're allowing you to essentially, upgrade the digital only version if you want to have a disk drive, I like that. I think
Should have
that's
been like
really
that
cool.
day one, I
Yep.
think.
Yeah, like they should have
both
included
consoles,
that for the digital day one anyway. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the way that they did the hard drive on the 360. Like you could upgrade the hard drive too, but this is a less important part in reality. But I am glad that they are including that. Now, why are they raising the fucking price of the digital only version $50 and then leaving the Blu-ray version the price that it is? That is
Chris,
dumbest shit in the world.
it is, but play devil's advocate. There is 1 terabyte.
I don't want your fucking double that
HDD
again.
space now.
1 terabyte compared to what was it, like
500, I guess,
of a terabyte? No, it was what was
I think it was 500, wasn't it? 500 gigs, not 500 terabytes, obviously.
PS5.
I feel like
drive.
I don't have a terabyte in my digital only PlayStation 5.
No, it's not a terabyte. It's 800 gigs are available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Available, or that's what it comes with?
Then it's a terabyte.
It's an 825 gigabyte hard drive. That's what.
So it is a terabyte. So they haven't even raised the terabyte, the amount of
it is slightly more. It's 175 gigs more because it's an 825 gig and there's like 670 available. That's what I'm looking at. But yeah, it's dumb bullshit. Like you obviously made the system cheaper to make. And this is not quite the level of stupidity that the PS3 pricing was, but it's getting there. Like this is Sony being cocky motherfuckers and saying, "Oh, we don't need to drop the price of our console. We're just going to release something cheaper and let's profit like a motherfucker." It's like, no, just drop the damn thing $50, leave the digital one the price it is with the opportunity to upgrade, and you're golden there. Like that would have been a relatively good compromise there.
Chris, so about 3 or 4 months ago, Disney ousted their CEO and brought back Bob Iger as interim CEO for some time. And one of the first quotes that Bob Iger had, and I'm paraphrasing here, was, "We did get a little too extreme with raising our prices." Fast forward to this week, they raised all their prices across the board: streaming, parks, day passes.
I got the message that Disney Plus was going up.
Everything.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, capitalism. Like they're just they want to make more money. It's if this is cheaper for them to make, and they're gonna essentially raise the price on it, regardless of like the drive space. Shame on them.
Yeah.
Shame on them.
This used to be a time for them to lower the price or at least offer more shit for the same price.
Right.
And I don't even think this is, I'm looking it up now.
There's nothing additional about this outside of 175 gigs of space. And that's it.
Yeah. And I'm looking, so Microsoft did the same thing with the new S, I believe. I'm looking up the prices now. Because they had the black S. Yeah, it doesn't look any. It's just black.
I'm sorry.
Black, yeah.
But
the new Series S.
There's no new Series X though, right? They haven't.
No, not yet. Okay. But the Series S is $379, the old one, and the new one is $449 Canadian.
Oh, okay, Canadian, right.
Yes. Now that does
in the
have,
US,
again,
that one was $300 out of the gate, right?
Yeah. The only difference is, again, it's the increase in hard drive space, which doesn't offset that price at all.
Mm-mm.
And
no, because it's so much cheaper. Like you can get a 2 terabyte drive for $100 now to put in your PS4 5.
Yeah.
You know,
and
it's like you can't keep raising prices and saying we're giving you more drive space when you're actually when the drive is half the price of what you're increasing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, how much do you think that disk drive cost to make?
I mean, penny. Well, I won't say pennies, but like $10 maybe.
And it's $80. And so that means if you buy the digital version and the disk drive, you're paying more than the PlayStation 5 with the disk drive.
Right. Well, I mean, that's expected. Why
is that expected? That's fucked up.
Because they're giving you a discount for buying them together at the out of the gate. So now I do think $80 is too much. I would think it should be like $60 or something like that. You know, I think that would be more reasonable.
That would pretty much put it at the same cost as the PS.
Yeah, I mean, it would be $10 more. They're still going to make a little bit more money, right? But again, I mean, it's like what they should have done is just drop the price.
Well, that's the thing, though. We just had a conversation that said they need to make some money. They're already making a killing because they're costing way cheaper for them to make these.
Yeah,
that's why it doesn't make sense. Like it's like. I mean, it makes sense. Capitalism, like Travis said, it makes total sense because when things
to dig deeper than just saying capitalism, like companies, every fiscal year they have goals that they have set. They're usually 5-10% higher than what last year's goals were, and they need to hit those goals year over year. This year's goals are probably not hitting the mark. Maybe PSVR 2 has something to do with that, and they need to find a way to make up that money so they can hit their fiscal goals. So that's probably, I mean, I'm putting my speculation glasses on as I say this, but like
no, you're probably right, but they need to make those projections that high.
Well, I mean, this is what happens. They're short on their goals for the year, and they need to make it up, and the consumer gets hit. That's how it goes. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. No, and yeah,
it sucks.
Yep.
I was really frustrated when I saw the prices
Chris
were what they were.
Holy shit.
I am. Like, you literally you put out a Slim and you raised the price on the digital version $50.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the vertical stand is $30.
Oh yeah, that's bullshit as well.
Is it a redesign on the stand at least? Like
it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It only does vertical. It comes with a horizontal. Oh, that's another thing. A horizontal stand is like a little see-through plastic
it's
thing.
Like a leg. It's like a leg.
Yeah, it's like a peg.
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
Exactly. And it. Yeah, I mean, at least throw that in for free. Like, see, that's where I can't give them the whole like they got to make like I cannot like that shit should be included in every fucking box, like the vertical stand, and let the people decide. Like, it's not the consumer's fault if they like. I literally can't stand either of my consoles up vertically, so I'm okay. But there's some that probably can't do that. They have to have it vertically to fit, and it's like so they have to spend that extra $30.
The goddamn console should be able to stand on its own fucking. It shouldn't need a stand. It shouldn't need a stand.
Honestly, I don't like the disk drive one. I don't think it does. Because I think the base
it's probably wide enough. Yeah,
but the digital only one, I mean, I'm sure you can stand it without the base, but it's probably
no. I wouldn't trust that shit.
I wouldn't trust that shit either.
Jesus.
No, I'm paying $50 more for it than I wanted to.
All right. Oh man, yeah. I was pretty livid when I saw that. I was like, oh, cool, they're doing this. Oh, cool, they're doing an internal BD drive that you can add on later on. Oh, they fucked up the prices again. All right, cool. Good job, Sony.
Oops.
Whatever.
Everyone likes it. The price of everything's going up, so it's allowed, right? That's the way some people have.
Nope.
Anyway.
So we're gonna end the show on that downer, huh?
No, because we have
we do have something that you can say, but
some community news that we were going to talk about.
We do.
Excuse me.
So before, I guess we might as well just get at it, because I think we're pretty much done the show with that. So we were talking, and what we're going to be doing is, for those listening, we do have a Patreon right now, which you do have to donate to the Patreon to get access to our Discord server. We're actually going to take that away. Not the Discord, not the access to the Discord. We're dropping the Patreon access for Discord. So
the exclusive Patreon access, yeah.
Exactly. So our Discord is going to be open for anybody to join. We want to kind of grow the community. That's always been important to us, and it's kind of something that we want to see thrive. So we decided that's probably the best way to do it. And until we kind of get a good roadmap and consistency with our content or video content, the stuff that is really time inducing and kind of like it's got to put in a lot of work. Once we get that up and it's consistent, then we can reintroduce a Patreon tier.
We're not getting rid of the Patreon.
Well, no, yeah, I'm getting into that, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can still donate if you'd like to, because we do have monthly expenses. We do have monthly expenses. We do have to pay, and again, to be totally transparent, we're not making money doing this, so it's not like we're just stopping and being like, okay, we're good. We always did this at the beginning to kind of recoup some costs with some people not being employed to get us up and running again, to get the equipment that we needed. So we have not made any money. So I just want to get that out of the way. It's literally just for putting right back into the show. So if you still would like to donate, feel free to, but also don't feel obligated. We really feel we need to have a reason to kind of like pledge to keep the other content going. So, and we want our community to grow. We're at our best when that happens. So, we're gonna do that moving forward. I guess as of now. I guess as of this episode.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll start that.
It'll happen.
Yeah, sometime this weekend. The Switch will get flipped, and then we'll make an announcement.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So we'll keep an eye on our Twitters and stuff like that. We'll send out if you're interested in joining the community, just let one of us know, and we can shoot you off a link to the Discord and whatnot. And
there you go. And
hope to see you in there.
We'll start adding it to the
LINKTREE.
We'll add it to the LINKTREE. It'll be in the comments or in the show post. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad we're doing that. It's gonna, as Jeff said, this has always been about our show has always been more about the listeners than anything else. So this is an opportunity for us to interact with them more. So
we're gonna have open borders. We're going to get riffraff crawling around in here. Oh, boy.
Right.
Oh, boy.
I think we'll be okay.
On that note, thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please tell a few friends about us. Come and join the Discord. Check out our LINKTREE. It's right down below. And certainly, if you are willing to help us out on Patreon, please do so. That would be great. But until next time, my name is Chris.
I'm Travis.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Jeff.
Player Games, and we'll talk to you next week.